Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Life in the Time of Rona. I'm your host, David Walker. As you can see, I'm getting even more scruffy than usual, and I just wanted to do this brief little episode because I had something really important I wanted to share with everybody, something that's got me concerned, and I figured if I've got a problem with it, some of you might be having a problem with it as well. So I'm here today to talk to you about number one. Yes, that's right. I'm here to talk to you about urination, going pee, taking a piss, shaking hands with the devil, watering the plants, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm an old man at this point in my life. I get up every night and I have to pee at least once, sometimes twice a night. It always disrupts my sleep. It's just kind of how it is, right? So anyway, I got to get up every night. I got to pee. It's just how it works. Except last 3-4 nights I haven't had to get up to pee. And some of you are probably thinking, hey, that's awesome. Your sleep wasn't disrupted by this burning thing in your bladder that needs to be released. And yeah, that's not cool. Because it means something's wrong with my body right now. I couldn't figure it out. Why wasn't I getting up to pee? Well, another interesting thing happened. This morning I got on the scale. I got on the scale because I'm trying to keep track of my weight. And I put on 10 pounds in the last 4 days. How the fuck is that possible? How the fuck did I put on 10 pounds in just 4 fucking days? Well, some of it has to do with the fact, has to do with number one. Has to do with number one. As with so many people, I went to the grocery store at the beginning of this whole pandemic. People are freaking out, started stockpiling on food, and a lot of the stuff that I would normally buy wasn't in stock, so I had to buy other things, and I really wasn't thinking about it that much. In some cases, had to get things that I normally wouldn't get, or slightly different brands, and now I'm starting to pay the price. Okay, so here we have a can of tuna fish from Trader Joe's. This is my preferred brand. When I went to Trader Joe's at the beginning of this pandemic thing, they were all out. Now you'll notice that the Trader Joe's tuna fish has 35 milligrams of sodium. I tend to buy stuff that has no salt added. I'll explain that in just a moment, but this has 35 milligrams of sodium. Part of the problem is that when I went to Trader Joe's, that can of tuna fish that I just showed you was literally the last can of tuna fish on the shelf at the time. I haven't been back since, but I then went to another grocery store to see if they had tuna fish, and they were all out. And I tend to eat a lot of tuna fish, and I try to always get the low sodium kind, but again, they didn't have any at the store, so I had to do the next best thing. Because they were all out of tuna fish at both Trader Joe's and this other grocery store that I go to, I bought some chicken. I just tend to have this sort of stuff with a salad, usually throw in a little some light salad dressing or something. It's a good source of protein, the tuna. But like I said, they didn't have any, so I got this chicken. But as you'll notice, look at this, the sodium, 210 milligrams of sodium versus, what do we have here? Autofocus, come on, quit fucking around with me. 35 milligrams of sodium. 35 versus 210. As you can see, there's a pretty significant difference between the sodium levels in the tuna fish and the chicken, which I didn't really think about, which is something I should have, but it's not just that. Now, I know that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and some food supplies are running out, and some of us are making some not the most wise decisions, or we're making decisions buying things that are non-perishable, stuff that is on the shelf that we know can sit in a cabinet for a month or 2 months or 12 years, and we can eat it whenever and it's not going to fuck us up. But some of it is going to fuck us up. The other day when I was at the store and I bought this tuna or the chicken with all this crazy fucking sodium in it, I was just grabbing other stuff off the shelf, and I grabbed this. Yeah. Now, this is not something that I eat on any sort of regular basis, but they had it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's some easy shit to cook. Macaroni and cheese, fuck it. I might as well get some. It's on sale, and who knows how long this pandemic's gonna last. And so I bought this macaroni and cheese. Kraft Deluxe Macaroni and Cheese. You know, not exactly the best, but it comes in handy in a time of crisis. But look at this shit right here. This shit has 910 milligrams of sodium. Now, this box is supposed to be about 4 servings. Now, if you're a big, fat, burly motherfucker like me, you're going to eat more than just, you know, a single serving of this shit, right? Let's say you make this macaroni and cheese here, which again, this one box is supposed to be 4 servings, each serving with 910 milligrams of sodium in it. Now, say you're like me, big burly person who's going to eat more than a fucking single serving of mac and cheese. Let's say that this box that's supposed to be 4 servings, you get 2 servings out of it, right? Well, that 2 servings at 910 milligrams of sodium each, do the math. 910 times 2 is 1,820. That's right. Break out your calculator. I don't need no fucking calculator. 1,820 grams of motherfucking sodium in a single meal. Now we start to know why a motherfucker doesn't have to get up and pee in the middle of the night. But that ain't necessarily a good thing, because all that sodium will fuck you up. Before I show you this next thing, I'd like to remind you that none of us are in a position to shame anybody or make anybody feel bad for the decisions that they buy at the store, especially in the times of a pandemic crisis, when you might be at the store and just kind of freak out and just buy shit that you would normally not buy. Remember that, normally not buy. So here we have some ramen noodles. First off, this little packet, I want to show y'all something. This is supposed to be 2 servings in this little ass package. First of all, how many motherfuckers only eat half a packet of ramen, even at your best? But look at this shit. The sodium, 760 milligrams of sodium per serving. This is uncooked. And then 1,520 milligrams of sodium in this little ass motherfucking package of ramen noodles. This right here. This motherfucker. This packet of ramen noodles is supposed to be 2 servings. Each serving has 1,520 milligrams of sodium. Now that's provided you put the little spice packet in this motherfucker that comes in here in your thing. If you don't put the spice packet in, then it's only 760 milligrams, which is still too fucking much salt. But let's say you eat this whole fucking thing, right? You eat this whole fucking thing and you're getting over 3,000 milligrams of sodium. 3,000 milligrams of sodium. That's enough to make a motherfucker never have to pee all fucking day long. Here we have a can of tomato sauce. This is no salt added, which means it has a total of 20 milligrams of salt in this motherfucking can right here. 20 milligrams of salt in something that has no salt added. I want you to think about that. Now, I also bought this when I was at the store. I normally don't buy this kind of spaghetti sauce, pasta sauce. I usually make it from scratch using fresh tomatoes and shit like that, but some of that stuff's at a premium, so I also bought this stuff right here. This tomato sauce, which has, are you ready for this? How much shit do we got? Motherfucker, 330 milligrams of sodium per serving. A serving being half a cup. There's 6 servings in here. And again, if you're a greedy, hungry, fat, burly, or just plain starving motherfucker, you might eat more than a single serving of this here spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce, pasta sauce, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So let's say you have 2 servings of this shit in your meal. 330 times 2, 660. That's almost 666. The number of the beast. Where am I going with all of this? What's the point of me showing you the sodium content of a packet of ramen noodles and some spaghetti sauce and tuna versus canned chicken? What's my point of telling you all of this? Why is this? You're asking yourselves right now. You're like, motherfucker. Look at this camera shaking. Motherfucker. Why? Why is this an episode of Life in the Time of Rona? And I'll tell you why. As we're adjusting to all this crazy shit that's going on in the world, and we're panicking and we're freaking out and we're doing what we think we need to do to survive, we're making some bad decisions along the way. Okay? Some of them are decisions that we feel are being made out of necessity, but we're not paying close attention. So we're buying food that we might not normally eat because we're thinking about, oh, I need to have shit in the cabinet and in the cupboards for, the next month or two. And oh yeah, ramen noodles, that's cheap. And for like $10, I can buy like 500 packets of ramen noodle, right? But that's a lot of sodium. It's a lot of bad shit that you could be putting into your body just because you think it's food. Yeah, it's food, but is it food you want to be eating? Maybe this doesn't matter to some of you. I grew up in a family with people who had high blood pressure. I happen to have high blood pressure. Not really bad, I'm not on any medications, but I need to monitor my blood pressure, which, no big surprise, the shit's been up since this pandemic shit started, right? Okay, so my blood pressure's been up. A lot of stress, a lot of shit like that going on, you know what I'm saying? And then in like the last 4 or 5 nights, I haven't had to get up to go pee. Okay? I didn't have to get up to go pee. Not once. And then 10 pounds, 4 days. Why? Motherfuckers retaining water. I'm retaining water because I've ate too much sodium, which is making my blood pressure go up, which is making me gain weight, which is making me retain water. None of this shit is healthy, right? Okay? So the point that I'm really trying to get at here in this episode of Life in the Time of Rona is that as we try to figure our shit out and survive, we can't kill ourselves, okay? We can't just go, oh shit, I'm gonna grab some fucking top ramen just because it's cheap and it can stay in the cabinet forever, because that shit's gonna kill you. You gotta be careful about what you put into your body. You gotta be careful of how you take care of yourself. We have to think ahead more, okay? I gotta do it, you gotta do it. So I think that's really all I gotta talk about today, but maybe I'll come back with some more in a little while. Peace.